Kevin, how can estate agents help new homes builders find lands and sites? Talk to me.
So the big need for developers at the moment is for consented sites. There'd be very, very few house builders that if an agent called them up and asked them what their requirements are, that wouldn't say they wanted a consented site. And for me, that's the biggest quick win that any agent can get. The key bit is understanding what has been granted from within the last 3 years. And the reason I say 3 years is that typically that's the length of time that a planning application is valid for. So in some instances, there'll be planning applications that will be fast running down to, to their expiry. Now, the vendor or the applicant behind that planning application might have had great intent to build, but actually, either can't get the money to do the build, or they've had a change of scenario, contractors, whatever. So for us, we really push or give the piece of advice that agents need to get out there and understand from that 3-year planning data what's been built and sold, what's under construction, and what's sitting there with a consent not built.
That sounds like they've got to get off their backsides and go.
They've definitely got to get off their backsides to do that. Now, our team of land researchers are back at our base. We do this as part of an outsourced service for agents. So we will send our land researchers out to do this work. We've refined the process. We know how long it takes. We know it's a big job, but we also know how valuable it is. And I think that for any agent, if they're trying to leverage a land and new homes offering, you can't just click your fingers and say, right, today we're land and new homes. You've got to be able to understand what's going on. So our guys will probably be able to research in a day from physical visits between 65 and 70 sites a day. Wow. Yeah.
I agree with you. When I was a lad back in the 1990s as an estate agent, I spent 6 months in a new homes department at an estate agent's, and that was my job. But you'll be amazed what you can see and the opportunities sometimes that others don't.
I think there's some brilliant tech out there. We work with a great prop tech company that our members have access to some of that software, and
what
the ability, it's mind-blowing. It will give you access to sort of look at lots of APIs that come into it, so from Land Registry Ordnance Survey, and you could literally sort of put in Grantham, and we could say show all plots over a certain size, and it will very quickly flash up on the screen any single ownership parcels of land over that acreage or over that size.
Interesting.
And there's colour codes on there, so some it might show it's owned by a company, some it might show that it's a private vendor. And the art really is about getting that communication out to that landowner who might otherwise not have a clue that his land's got development potential.
Surely they should know that.
They don't.
Don't they?
No, they don't.
Do you think estate agents assume that the landowners know everything, or if it's got planning permission that there's another agent involved?
I think most agents, from our experience and a lot of feedback, a lot of our members would confirm this before they came on board. I think they'd say that they've been very busy being busy.
Yes.
And they've always done what they've always do what they've always done, and they sell and let houses. And it's like going, all your staff going out on viewings. If they don't know what they're sort of tuned to look for while they're driving, they're missing it. Yeah. These sites don't just pop up by magic. No. Somebody will have been behind them. But you've got to look at sometimes things from a bit of a helicopter view on an area and say, well, actually, just because I'm driving past it doesn't look like, it might not be anything, but then all of a sudden you look from above.
Yes. When you start bringing land together and people's plots.
Absolutely. It's a land assembly, classic land assembly.
But we were doing that 20, 30 years ago. Why aren't we doing it now?
I just think agents have lost their way with it. I think, if you look at a lot of agency businesses, new homes was probably one of the first areas that was cut in the last recession.
Yes.
And a lot of that was because agents were losing money on land and new homes. And the simple reason for it was they had maybe lots of new home sites, but they hadn't forecasted them properly. So they were, doing CGIs, they're doing brochures, a lot of upfront costs, and then maybe staffing, big cost, and they're just eroding margin because they didn't have timelines of when they were going to sort of commit
these
to
sites,
things.
You've sometimes got to spend a lot of money up front, and you're not going to get the money back over the long term.
But we work very closely with our members to say, look, there is an alternative to how you can leverage your offering. but more importantly, within the offering, we're all about a super profit position. There shouldn't really be any scenario where a new home site isn't anything other than a super profit position.
Talk to me about this converting commercial land and industrial land to residential. Is there an opportunity there?
Massive. So if you imagine that, obviously it's well known now about sort of things like the office buildings to resi, and but there are still plenty out there. There's still a lot out there that maybe they've now got void periods. Those void periods have been going on for a bit longer than somebody's thought. We've just done a land deal on a site which was an office building that you would think would flip straight to resi, but actually we've ended up selling it to a developer that's going to bring the building down because of the sort of the slab to slab ratios in the building. By demolishing it, they're able to get a couple more floors of resi rather than just doing a conversion. So you've got to look at things, around height of buildings.
And the Land and Homes Network can help agents with all this.
We coach everyone on what to look for.
So it isn't just a one-day course. I know we talked about it in
It's
a
not a
previous...
course at all. It's not. It's definitely not a course, and it's not a club.
Okay.
For us, it's very much a network that sits with the agent right on a day-to-day basis. We're talking to agents every day about scenarios because you can't teach a particular piece.
And do you meet up together in like regional meetings where all the agents can come together with the builders and things like that then?
Yeah, so we have 9 regions across the UK, and there are what we call our insight days. So we meet with all of our members every other month, so on a bi-monthly basis. We meet in either their regional area, or at our offices in Marlborough, and we're all sitting around the table and we'll coach things in. We might have some external presentations from house builders. They particularly like coming along, outlining what maybe their current land requirements are. We have architects and planning consultants which will come in and give good proper practical stuff of what to look for and how to unlock opportunity. Because that for us is our big driver.
Well, let's be honest. The builders are going to love it because if you're teaching the agents on the ground what to look for, it's going to help them in a roundabout way, isn't it?
Like I said, earlier on, for me, the big piece is that if an agent's got 5 or 10 people, you've got to develop the culture that they're all land finders. But in exactly the same situation on new home sales, if I'm a developer and I'm sussing out an area and I'm going to go into the local agent, if there isn't a strong new homes culture in that business, now, what's a new homes culture look like? Well, just because I've not got any new homes for sale as a branch, doesn't mean, say, when the next registering the applicant, they can't just be asking the simple question, and would you consider buying a new build? Now, if I'm mystery shopping you as an agent,
so simple.
It's such a simple line, but the perception is I deal with new homes. Because again, if you look at most house builders of why they wouldn't like to use an agent or what their frustrations have been with agents, is they feel that there's a disconnect and they don't feel that the staff in the branch have bought into the site.
Okay, let's talk about that, about how new homes builders perceive agents in the next video. Thank you.
Thank you.